My name is Kathleen Mitchell. This is a notification call from our Department of Tax Debt and Financial Settlement Services.
It is tax season. Are you in a
There
lot
are
of...
new
I already did
programs
my
that
taxes.
can
You already
help
did?
you
You in financial
reduce
trouble?
or eliminate your debt
Always.
completely.
Red loose?
It is possible that your debt can now be considered temporarily
Why are they-
non-collectible.
Why are they talking
You
so
can
slow?
call me back at my personal desk.
Oh,
833
Personal desk.
312 3231.
All right, everybody, you heard it here. Call their number and
remove your debt.
Remove your debt, dude.
You know why they
Freaking
talk?
Get rid of it.
You know why they talk so slow?
Why?
It's because they're targeting old people who don't really know how the world works anymore.
It's evil.
It is evil.
And also, where do you think her personal desk is?
That's what I was wondering.
In Wreck-It Ralph world.
Right.
It's
Well,
somewhere in the ether.
probably in one of the billions of Google servers in it.
Hi, sorry, pardon the interruption. I want to take this opportunity to apologize for the audio quality of this episode. And the next one, actually. But you knew what you were in for, honestly. So you can get over it. Anyway, back to the episode.
India.
So, speaking of Google servers and evil people and the horrifying things.
Modern technology, AI, yeah.
Yeah. So, maybe we could talk about AI in movies. That'd be a fun topic.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know
Well,
what I read today?
Caused the movie strike.
It
Right,
did,
didn't it?
yeah. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that too.
Okay.
All right. This AI caller just gave us our topic for the day on accident. Listen, I read this today. I subscribed. By the way, I decided to subscribe to The Atlantic.
Oh, I thought you were about to say the New Yorker. I was going to walk out of here.
I did a trial subscription to The New Yorker, and I thought every article I read, first of all, they have way too many issues.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the bar for what makes it into an issue is so low.
And
The odds of finding an interesting article are
because social
absurd.
media ruined newspapers.
Yeah.
Because everyone's a reporter now.
Yeah. But I subscribe to The Atlantic because The Atlantic is the last of like the mainstream, like high prestige media outlets that is still like respectable. Like,
Not even Washington Post?
yeah, no, I don't really trust them or New York Times
Yeah.
or those. I don't know. There's just like a bunch of garbage out there.
Didn't
But
Washington Post take down Nixon? Weren't they?
oh, sure. They did. I'm sure they've done good things. But I'm just saying now, The Atlantic is like the last one left where the issues are there's only 10 per year.
Oh,
And
whoa.
they, like the article, they have a high bar for an article making it into an issue of
Yeah.
The Atlantic. And it's usually reporters or authors, famous people that are like writing about interesting things. And I read an article that came out 2 days ago in The Atlantic about AI, written by a sci-fi author.
Oh.
And get this,
Hmm.
our scientific overlords,
Sure.
the evil people who run everything and decide, hey, that sounds like a terrible idea. They did another terrible idea. They created an AI with real human brain matter.
Oh, good.
Living brain matter. of
Where'd they
humans.
get that?
No idea. The article didn't say, and they probably didn't disclose that, but there's living human brain matter that they hooked up to electrodes, like to a microchip.
Yeah.
So they like wired human brain matter into a computer, into electrodes, so it could like signal impulses to it,
Yeah.
and then just let it teach itself to play Pong. They didn't even give it a command. It just taught itself to play Pong.
Stop.
I'm not even kidding. It's called Dish Brain, I think.
What?
And this is absolutely real. So they had
So is
this
it like
brain matter in like a microchip, like with electrodes that would
Yeah.
like give it electrical impulses, and then it was hooked up to a controller. that
You said
could
brain
control-
matter, not like a whole
It's not a whole brain. It's like just chunks. I don't know. I didn't look at pictures, and it's probably really small. It's probably like neurons on a chip. You know, it's probably you can't. I don't know. But then it was hooked up to electrodes to where it could receive input from the Pong screen, and then it had access to the Pong controller, and it could send electrical impulses to control it. And it didn't know what it did. It didn't know what the screen was. Wasn't taught anything, and it wasn't given a command because you can't program it. It's
Sure.
human
Well, I
brain
mean,
matter.
yeah.
They just put the stuff there with the input running, and it taught itself to play Pong because that's its whole world.
No
That's all
context.
no context, but that's the input it has. And it figured out that it likes the input feeling of winning better than getting scored on. And so it just taught itself the controls and then slowly got better at it until it was like, still not perfect, but it was like winning most of the time or whatever.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my mind immediately went to like, what if we dig up dead people?
Mm-hmm.
And then, or not even then, what if we just, somebody dies and like, oh, their brain's still fresh. Let's remove their brain and then put their brain on this thing that...
Mm-hmm.
What?
What would happen?
What would happen? What are we doing?
Yeah, that was the article was what is consciousness? And he's a sci-fi author, materialist kind of guy, so he had no basis for he didn't understand
Well, just imagine asking ChatGPT hey ChatGPT, write me a 5-page essay on brain matter, and it's just why am I still alive? Who's here? Why I can't see anything?
Help.
Exactly. That's the kind of horrifying thing.
The souls of the damned
right.
screaming out. Yeah, you.
I thought I died.
Mm-hmm.
Am I still in the hospital? Where's my family?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
This is a brain of a person.
Well, and if a demon can possess a person, it could probably possess a brain and a computer too.
This is freaking me out, man. I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
There's a book about that. Anyway, no, but AI in movies. There's some fun there's a fun segue there. So
it's a fun topic.
The one that I go to, actually, before you say that, you're talking about digging up dead people, and it's funny that we're literally living in a dystopia that was warned against over 100 years ago. We don't even have to read because there's more recent sci-fi things like Dune,
right?
They had the war with the robots and the AI, and that's in the lore,
Sure.
But you don't even have to go back. You don't even have to go that recent. You can go all the way back to the first freaking sci-fi and read Frankenstein, and that's what this is about. No, this is literally Frankenstein.
Everything.
You're not supposed to raise dead people
leading up to everything in folklore, every ancient story leading up to this point is hey, don't do that specifically. And morbid curiosity, I'd probably do it too.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly,
just go read Ray Bradbury. But speaking of, go ahead.
If you had billions of dollars, would you not be the slightest bit curious?
No, I would buy 1 billion McChickens. Well, I guess I'd buy 600 million McChickens now because of inflation.
Inflation. Well, that's sad.
Yeah. But speaking of AI in movies, though, the first one that comes to mind is HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
The AI that chose to kill its humans. Not even out of malice, but just out of I was programmed to complete this mission and do this thing, and these humans are getting in the way, so I'm going to kill them.
The humans won, right?
Yeah. Because Dave shut down HAL. He went to the computer and started unplugging stuff willy-nilly, and HAL was yeah, Dave.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I've seen that scene.
He had already killed the other guy, so HAL killed one of them, and then Dave unplugged him, and then Dave got sucked into hell. So,
what?
You not seen that movie?
No.
He didn't go to hell. He got abducted by aliens, but it feels I think for all intents and purposes, he went to hell.
Good.
And then he deserved it for unplugging
Screw
hell.
Dave.
No kidding. And then I haven't seen AI, the Steven Spielberg movie with Haley Joel Osment. That I haven't. So that'd probably be a good one to talk about in this episode.
Did they use a lot of AI in it?
I haven't seen
I thought we were talking about using AI in film.
Oh no, I was talking about examples of it in movies, like AI characters. So it's like Skynet in Terminator.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That chose to kill everybody, to
what
wipe
else?
the planet clean.
Well, now this is a new topic. I didn't really think about.
Yeah, no, you're not prepared. Will Smith in iRobot.
iRobot was fun.
I don't remember the plot actually. And I don't think it followed the Asimov book at all.
I think it's pretty similar to I Am Legend.
Now that's a movie about AI. If AI stands for all... What's the word for zombie that starts with I? No, I Am Legend, the dog, you thought he was going to... Did the dog die?
I don't know. I've never seen that movie.
Why'd you bring it up?
I don't know. It's another Will Smith movie.
Where are we at? So, now let's talk about your topic.
Okay. AI in movies.
Yeah,
using
what
movies.
caused the strike.
Well, yeah, because I'm sure everyone, this is a super stale topic, but
that's what this podcast is for.
Yeah, not qualified to talk about anything. So I guess the people who own AI, I don't know.
There's the people who own AI.
the guys, they were going to start using it in movies, and producers quickly realized that they owned the likeness to most actors.
Mm-hmm.
And to make toys and T-shirts and movie posters and whatnot, well, they quickly realized they could also use that in AI.
Mm-hmm.
And with how real AI is becoming, you can use their likeness in any situation. You can make ads. You can make them say whatever you want, and it's totally legal for you to do that. You don't need their permission because you own their likeness.
Well, the thing, so I get more depressed about stuff like this all the time. Maybe not depressed, but really cynical, because I watched the Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny. With the first, you saw it?
I have not seen it yet.
The first 30 minutes are de-aged, like 29-year-old Harrison Ford.
That's what you were telling me.
And it's so uncanny looking, it just looks weird. But even if it looked perfect, I would hate it, because that's creating a future where you're going to, 2052, you're going to go to the theater and see Transformers 14 starring Doris Day and Jimmy Stewart.
Right, because they own their likeness.
Yeah.
And so that's what caused the strike. And it wasn't really mainstream actors, because people would realize pretty quick that that wasn't them, because they're familiar with their behaviors and whatnot. But it was the people who have done, like, background work. Like, if I've ever done background work at all, and they own my likeness for movie posters and whatnot, now I can no longer work ever again because they have my likeness, and they'll just throw me in the background, and I won't get paid anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They just paid the...
You signed a one-time deal.
You signed a one-time deal to be in a movie. I made $500 that one time, and then that's it. That's it forever. And so they all banded together, and they're like, no more movies. And it worked for a little bit. Movies sucked.
The reason that even is possible in that industry, and the reason that they needed to do a strike, is because that's like the only industry where it's a threat in that way. Because like AI is a threat to you and me in the sense that it could take our jobs just if our jobs get automated by AI.
As a bank teller, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And like I make videos for a living. I can absolutely down the road be AI produced. So like I get that. Like our jobs are in danger there, but our faces are not in danger. Like nobody needs us to do that.
Right.
But in the film industry or in the music industry, the artist is the product. The actor is the product in a sense.
Exactly.
So
you're like, losing yourself.
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to happen in the music industry, because you hear those AI like Plankton covers singing early 2000s bangers.
Sound good.
Yeah, dude.
They miss everything with AI. You can tell, like as a human looking into this.
It's like,
even though it's like hyper realistic and your brain's telling you it's real, you can see something. There's something about it.
There's like a spiritual presence in that guy. You're like that ain't right. They're
missing
uncanny.
a soul.
Yeah, it's like seeing freaking the Mothman outside your window, and you're like, that could be a tall guy, but I know that's not a tall guy.
But I'm scared for my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. We could start talking about like the biblical context of AI and how it's basically a free agent for whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. Let's just go there. So there was an article in Touchstone magazine about that called AI Demonic, and it was that was the idea was that, and then there are a lot of people that have written on that where the idea of like using AI is almost like an old pagan ritual where you're going towards some deity you don't understand and asking it to do something for you, and it gives you something in return, and you're just like, thank you. And you don't know what's going on behind the curtain. You're just like,
here it is.
You're doing the ritual of typing it in, and then it gives it to you, and you're like, thanks. And then but you don't see, in like, we're like, oh, it's just code, it's just programming. And so we know it's safe, and it's like, but I don't actually see that. I don't know that.
Right.
And then it's also like, even if it is just programming, who's to say that a spiritual entity couldn't like affect that? If it can possess a person, and your brain is just electrical impulses.
That's exactly where I was about to go.
Why can't it possess a computer circuit board?
I was going to say, electronics down at their like basic form is just like
it's a mockery of a brain. It's
bits and pieces of organic matter that hold electronic pulses.
Yeah.
And that's what we do.
And
that's
if demons can influence that because they can possess a person, then why not they can possess your computer and show you horrible things in the Twitter algorithm?
Right. Donald Trump is actually Satan. You're like, oh, well.
Anyway, I think about that a lot. I think it's because I work at a job where I have a computer in front of me all day. I hate this thing.
Stop looking at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work for probably one of the most evil corporations there are.
Shout out
the bank.
Monsanto. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, I think the bank is awful, and we're using AI to like further like battle cryptocurrency scams and all kinds of stuff. It's as a teller, as an innocent teller who just hands and takes people's money and gets yelled at, seeing AI battle cryptocurrency scams and all kinds of really fascinating scams that people come up with. I just think we've gotten so far ahead of ourselves with technology.
Yeah, and you're just watching it play out.
And it's just like we've come full circle to like would make our lives easier with technology. And now I'm like, dude, we made it so much more complicated.
Yeah.
Now I have to worry about some guy sending me Bitcoin through the ether. And like I receive it, but I don't realize I receive it because my phone is just this processing like data mover, and I'm just a part of a chain.
And then you get arrested for smuggling
cryptocurrency because I use my phone at
the gas pump.
At the gas pump, I'll pay for my gas. And they're like, you can't pay with cryptocurrency.
And we have all the proof right here that you did this. Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, it's just.
Yeah, and then it's also funny that every sci-fi story ever warned about all these things. Like, just watch Terminator for real.
Right.
Like,
well, and another funny story, I was on a popular website and Reddit, and a guy I was like, well, that could be misconstrued.
I was like, you should probably just say it. It sounds worse if you don't.
I was on Reddit, and I was reading an article of a guy who was looking at his data usage through his Wi-Fi router. I guess you can do that. I didn't even know you could do that. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I ran out of data in my Wi-Fi, and I have like terabytes of data, and I didn't think that was possible. So I opened up what was being used, and my LG fridge was using thousands of gigs a day in data.
Gotta download that ice. And
I was like, and the people introduced me to the horrifying thing that is like electronics like that are just basically like small little servers that just send crap across the U.S. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just like a wave of whatever scam, most likely.
You know, it's yeah.
And they just use it.
They're just using it as a little piece of the puzzle of the massive web of servers. And you know, it's funny because I have a degree in this and I don't understand any of this.
It's so complex.
Computer science degree. I don't know how to do any of this.
So complex.
But you think about like your car. It's really scary when you think about the fact that your car is a computer now. You know.
Yeah,
and, like,
mine's not. But
yeah, but any car past like 05 is a computer in there. You know, and it's like, and then you read about people. I'm not going to say his name because we'll get canceled as a conspiracy. Not canceled, but like I'm sure some AI will scrub the audio of this and transcribe it and search for conspiracy theory buzzwords. But there was a reporter who mysteriously died under mysterious circumstances because his car accelerated to like max when he wasn't pressing the gas pedal and threw him into a tree, and he was not in control of it. And he supposedly had a bunch of CIA documents that he was about to leak in his car, and then when the police showed up, like the state troopers showed up, the documents were not in his car, and he was smashed into the tree because they can probably just hack your computer from a satellite and tell your car to drive off the road if they want to. If my car knows if I'm not buckled, then it absolutely knows if I have CIA documents in the back.
There was another instance I was reading of someone who had an HP laser printer, and it wouldn't print, it wouldn't work anymore, and so they were like, what the heck? So they went into the store, bought more ink or whatever an HP laser printer needs, and then they unplugged it, plugged it back in, they did the update, and so they're like, man, I can't figure this out. So they called HP, and they were like, I'm using the brand because they suck. I hate that. I hate this. They called them and they're like, hey, my printer's not working. I did everything. It's brand new. And they're like, the credit card on file that you purchased the printer with expired, so we shut down your printer manually over here. It won't work until you put a new credit card. And he's like, there's no monthly subscription involved with HP using their printer. It's just the credit card that I used to purchase the printer with expired, and so they shut my printer off.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Everything's a subscription now. And Netflix kicked me off my dad's Netflix.
Yeah.
And now I have to pay $7 for ads.
Ads on Netflix. Disney Plus is doing
Love is Blind with
Hulu
my wife.
did it first, so they get it for free. They get off scot-free, I guess.
Yeah, nobody cares that Hulu did it because they already had done it. Man. Also Westworld. That's a movie with AI where the AI cowboy shoots the man. And the lesson was learned.
Joseph keeps saying that's a really good show.
Well, I haven't seen the show, but I watched the movie. So there was the movie in the 70s, 80s.
Oh.
And that was, like, there was the novel, and then there was the movie right after the novel. And the movie's actually directed by the author of the book.
Really?
Michael Crichton, right? Who wrote Jurassic Park. Same guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't direct Jurassic Park, Steven Spielberg did, but he directed Westworld, because he can do that, I guess. It was a good movie. But then they made the show later. I'd never watched the show.
Well, Joe said it was good. I trust Joe. He's on this podcast.
It's true. And if you know who else is on this podcast? Nobody.